Okay, I feel energized, feel recharged, had a lot of fun, grabbed a lot of things, and now to sit down and relax and read a very relaxing, enjoyable 7 Days of Sunny June. How long is the first chapter? Yeah. Not a single one of these is under 10,000. And I thought I put enough effort back in fall. Yep. Well, into the abyss, into the abyss. Let's rock. 7 Days in Sunny June. Book 4, Reckoning. Chapter 1, July 28th. On a short trip on the RATP, and 20 minutes later, Sunset Shimmer wandered 26 Boulevard des Logus, a nearby town of Poissy. This house was a nice place in the upper middle class suburb of Paris, and though Summer's mother could easily afford better, they liked the house. It was just over 6 kilometers from her school. Je suis là, she calls as he came in. Bonjour, mon petit tournesol. Comment est ta journée? A voice called from upstairs. Mom, I thought we agreed to switch back to English so you could practice, Shimmer pointed out. As if I needed. A woman with short hair and pastel tones as she descended the stairs, fixing eyes on her daughter. I have been speaking since before you were born, but this being France and you a French woman, also American, Shimmer pointed out. You know, born in California, attended the American section of lycée and not the French one, etc., etc., etc. Derivatives, my dearest child, Shimmer's mother said, a soft, playful smile coming to her face. Given your history and heritage, your song français counts more here than your song américain. Wasn't aware blood had a nationality, Sunset said, rolling her eyes. She knew something was up. Her mother tended to be far more impish than normal when something was amiss. Furthermore, her mother was being somewhat dismissive of Shimmer's dual citizenship, something that the older woman found to be her daughter's advantage. Mom, you can knock off the bad jokes and tell me what's wrong, okay? I've already had a weird enough day as it is. Without her mother's prodding, a second later, the team put two to two together. Okay, what's Uncle Nubbleese want now? I just got off the phone with him, the woman sighed as she plopped onto the sofa, resting delicate fingers on her temples, a sign of a building headache as there ever was one. I said, I love my brother, but he can be such an idiot. Solaire, I need you to attend the Global Empowerment Foundation's annual meeting in Oslo as a representative of the family. Flight leaves from Oslo at 6 tomorrow morning. Doesn't even realize what we're going through right now, she groaned. Remind me why I moved back to France. Shimmer wrapped her arms around her mother in a hug. Wasn't my idea. Wasn't I the one who tried to run away after Dad died? Sola recalled the memory of a young 9-year-old girl showing up on the doorstep, face tear-stained and with more than a few cuts and bruises showing through her torn clothes, but otherwise unharmed. The ECSD had returned the girl to her house in San Palermo after her 8-hour attempt at, badly, dealing with her father's fatal car accident just hours before. Her daughter had blamed herself for years for something that had completely been out of control. It had been the other driver at fault. Yes, and that's when your grandmother thought that you better off being living here in Paris. Plus, Solaire had to admit, I had to support Nabalaise in the succession of head of the family over that moron cousin of mine. Honestly, he creeps me out. He's done much less than me, dearest one. I probably would have gotten away with it too, had it not been for the fact that he has no niece. The look in Solaire's eyes was morose as she told her daughter. Mon petit tournesol, how I wish I could spare you all this. It's the last thing you need right now. It's certainly the last thing I need right now. Mom, just promise me that if you ever decide to remarry, not him. Believe me, not even in my nightmares did it sunset. Solar chuckled softly, then drawled, Really, I thought it was my duty to offer you dating advice, not the other way around. I learned from the best, Sarah said proudly. You're far too much like your father, Sarah said, a fond smile on her face. Let's pack and we can be at the Rose in time for that flight. We have a family to visit in America. A bittersweet look came to her face as she added, Family that we've been long overdue in seeing. The light of the summer sun, meanwhile, stabbed into the room, jostling Sunset Shimmer to consciousness. Sitting up, she blinked away the last vestiges of sleep, stretching and yawning as she did so. Ugh, I swear I'm never going to get used to this part of being human. It was much easier when I was on the astral cycle. Fortunately, when she had first arrived on Earth, she had enough time to read up on the phenomenon of the human female body, and it wasn't enough that she hadn't heard of that kind of biology before. While it was frequently rare back home, it still existed. But it wasn't anything she expected to experience personally. Knowing she had to get up regardless, she stumbled over to the bathroom, ignoring the pain in her hips, and after spending a few minutes doing things that would best be described as horror film worthy for ponies, finally departed the sanctuary upstairs and walked downstairs towards her fate. Yeah, if you are uncomfortable with womanly things, you should not be thinking about it right about now. Well, you look like crap, Spike says. He looked up to the stairs to see Sunset descending. Well, Spike, replied Velvet in reproach. To begin, your sister does not look like crap. And second, congratulations on volunteering to do the dishes. Look on Spike's face was one of complete horror as he realized what he'd done. Twilight Sparkle looked at her brother, then towards her soon-to-be adopted sister. While I don't exactly agree with how Spike phrased it, I do agree with his sentiment. You okay, sis? Yeah, just one of the real bad times running around the Red River, Sunset moaned as he sat down at the table, pushed her hair back. As Sunset played in front of her, the teen looked up gratefully. Thanks, Mom. Now I need some coffee. Probably not a wise idea if you're paying the monthly bill, dear, Velvet told her, getting a glass of orange juice in front of her. Besides, we've got a busy day today, and you want to be at your best. Don't remind me, Sunset moaned, feeling every atom in her body coil out for caffeine. Thank goodness for two things. One, I'm a pony, and two, I'm a male. Trixie is so glad for you. However, when her heat comes on, Trixie has to run for the hills. I know, Trix, I know. But again, this is why I'm glad I don't go into heat. No, you just stand outside sniffing the air whenever heat season is available. Yeah, it's a quite fun time because I hope to pray to Celestia on high I can catch Applejack. Oh, quit it, you'll survive, Velvet said with a slight smirk, mentally cataloging this moment in order to tease her daughter-to-be a decade from now. Sure, mentally she agreed with Sunset. Today she'd rather stay in bed herself, given it was going to be a long day for both of them. First would be a full medical checkup for Sunset with Sakura, followed by a full interview with Sunset by the ECDSS staffers, something Velvet couldn't do herself as she and Knight were the adopting parents. While she knew the last part was a relatively simple procedure, there was the fact she couldn't be around for that. Then there was Sunset's occasional lack of memory regarding her past, a past that both Velvet and her husband privately admitted was a little too convenient. Not that she didn't trust or love Sunset any less for the girl's omissions. Quite the opposite. Velvet hoped that once the adoption was final, and Sunset truly had a real family to fall back on, she would start opening up on the parts of her life she held back. Velvet wanted to help her soon-to-be elder daughter, and the only way to do that was to ensure Sunset knew she had a family that loved her. It would take time, but the matron knew she would succeed. 2 more sets of feet beat down the stairs, followed by a kiss on the cheek and one on the lips. You two are running late, Velvet said to the last 2 members of the household. Sorry, love, Nate told her as he sat down. Had to find a tie that goes with what I'm wearing. You know, the higher-ups at the university could be when it comes to budget discussions. Well, my excuse is that the socket to my alarm clock's plugged and died. Octavia explains. He made a beeline to the coffee maker. I think we'll have to call the electrician again. Sorry, Taffy, Velvet said to her niece. I thought they fixed it. Guess I'll have to call them again. But before the teenage Susan could respond, Knight's phone chirped at the exact moment. Sawyer Tasty looked at the screen, pocketed the device as he rose from the chair. Sorry, gotta go. Team Money Talks wants to have the meeting early, so that means I need to get going now and grab something at the Golden Arches along the way. A thought came to Velvet's face. Will you be able to swing by Tia and Lulu's and grab their depositions? I need to get that paperwork in today, and Sonny and I will be busy. He shook his head. Earlier, I don't think I would have been a problem, but Money Talks is starting to headaches this early. I might not be home until late, hun. Well, Aunt Velvet, if Twilight's willing to stay here today and keep Spike company and wait for the electrician, I don't mind getting them. I need to head to the store to get some replacement strings for my instruments. It's not a problem. You sure? Velvet asked. Octavia smiled. It's for family, right? Not a problem at all. Meanwhile, not saying a single thing, Sunset quietly ate breakfast, ignored the throbbing pain in her hips, and the feral need for coffee, and looked at her family as they sat there discussing daily pleasantries. This time, a year ago, she lived in a relative squalor, where a myopic world being nothing more than an adulation of sniffs and snails, and her need to humiliate just about everyone she knew. Now, she knew she'd been so small back then. All this time had gone by, forced a major change in her perspective. So much so that the Sunset Shimmer of now hard to believe she had been the Sunset Shimmer of the past. But as she looked at the people so much, what she called her family, she knew that the Sunset Shimmer of the future would be one very lucky girl indeed. Now, if I could just get the painters aside, maybe I should stop at the store and get some Midol. Celestia's part. At a townhouse on the other side of town, a woman reluctantly slid out of bed. A bedsheet somewhat sticking to her. She felt the caress of a finger slide down her back as she sighed for delight at the sensual touch. You know, if you keep doing that, I'm not going to be able to get to work, she cooed. Back on the bed, the man gave her a wolfish grin. Says the woman who pretty much kept us busy all night. Tia, you're more insatiable than women half your age, you know that? Celestia turned and kissed him. Maybe it's because I got the right boyfriend, Sable? Sable set up. Maybe. Or maybe you're just a handful in bed. Boing! Flattery will get you everywhere, mister, she said with a grin. I thought it did, he replied. She shook her head with amusement. She looked down. She was once again amazed at how their relationship had reached a whirlwind crescendo in a matter of weeks. She loved him, she knew that, and she knew he loved her. Their lives seemed to be a perfect pair, as if they always meant to be together. Celestia couldn't see herself now with anyone else. Even her relationship with Discord hadn't been this ideal. So why did she feel as though something was amiss? As she looked at the clear skies outside, why did she expect to see thunderclouds and storms, portending darkness? Something felt... Well, if I had to put a finger on it, it felt just like the days leading up to when Sunset Shimmer turned into that monster. And while I know she's changed from those days, part of me wonders what all this worry means. Maybe I'm just getting old. She then turned back to her boyfriend and mused. You know, maybe we should move in together? He blinked at that. We've only been together a couple of months, Tia. Think that's moving a little fast? She smiled. Maybe I just need a big, strong man to protect me. Yeah, says the woman with the very vicious-looking sword on the wall. He said, pointing to a golden-plated bastard sword. It cuts in the hallway, leading from the living room to the bed. Hey! I'll have you know that sword's parents were married. No, Trixie. It's an actual type of sword. Oh, never mind. The sword practically seemed to glow with its own light, and the flaming bird edging was maintained, and not just the obvious dullness of a collector's sword, like so many samurai swords he's seen at various people's places over the years. Oh, Sunbringer? Yeah. When I was in college, my friends and I got into SCA. The hour play I had when I was down in the garage. Trust me, it doesn't get used anymore. I don't have time to do all that like I used to. But it's too dear for me to get rid of.
He laughed. Any girl who uses a sword doesn't need my help.
Celestia sighed and blushed girly. So, think about it?
We'll talk about it later. I mean, we do have other issues to worry about, right? Technically, you're a higher authority level than I am in the school system. And isn't there a fraternization policy in effect in the school district?
Only if we're in the same school, or the same cluster if I'm an assistant superintendent. She pointed out, your school and mine aren't in the same cluster, nor am I a superintendent. He was about to say more, but then his phone rang. Picking up, he looked at the number.
Oh, hey, old army buddy.
Well, I suppose you'll want your privacy, she said. Besides, I need to hit the shower if I'm going to get ready for work. Kissing her quickly, she then let the seat go, wandering over to pull the fresh full intimates from her dresser before walking into her bathroom. A few seconds later, the sound of the shower softly rumbled through the closet door. With a look of disgust on his face, he said,
Yeah, this is Loam. Go ahead. Hello, Sable. Or should I just call you the Wolf of Kabul, the one that made the Taliban quake in their boots? You know, I never liked that nickname. Well, I'm not the fucker who got a tattoo of a bloody wolf's paw print, am I?
Sable looked down to his right shoulder where the tattoo was. Even after all these years, it looked as fresh as the day he got it.
Whatever. So what do you want, Blythorn? Hey, is that any way to talk to an old lieutenant, Sergeant Loam? The man laughed. Of course, neither you or I are in the army now, are we? Yeah. Heard from Nightfire you're a washer for the company now.
Siebel says he practically spat the words out. Being a soldier was one thing, but being an assassin for the CIA's Division of Operations, the nastier side of the house that everyone knew of when they saw the CIA, somehow just irked him. Siebel liked somewhat fair fights, when the enemy knew he was coming, but the washers took out their targets when least expected.
Yeah, that's got a gem of assignment too. One I could use some backup on. The man told him. Going hunting after the Sirens. You heard of them, right? Canadian Super Elite Spec Ops? Apparently, teams from Arrowhead and the CSIS are having problems with them. So the DDO asked me to put a little team together. Says the government's trying to do a favor for the Can-Cans. Got some heavy hitters on this team too. DevGru, Delta, and Marsoc vets. All I need is you.
Why me?
Because you're the best damn hard kids I've ever seen. You saved an entire company that didn't even know they were being ambushed. You got a freaking soldier's medal for that.
Yeah, I know. Siebel said in surprisingly sad tones. It had been the incident that earned him the nickname Wolf of Kabul. He had been assigned to run point for a team sweeping that part of the ramshackle town, moving well ahead of the rest of the unit. He managed to spot a small team of Taliban that planned a nighttime ambush of a company of regular infantry passing through the town. Fortunately for the enemy, however, it had been a full moon that night, and it was the Taliban and the troops, and disabled at the time, there had been no question. The medical citation said it all. He fought them single-handedly, a squad of 30 to 1, until his carbine and sidearm had been spent. They proceeded to continue fighting with nothing but his knife, even as the bullets rained around him. By the time the last tango down, he stood, covered in blood, the silver of his knife gleaming in his hand like a massive canine tooth. And by the time reinforcements arrived, the translator with them had been so shocked by Sable's bloodstained appearance, he uttered the word Pashto that had been marked Sable since. Ugh. Since then, he had been celebrated, feted, and when he decided not to re-enlist, the general himself had practically begged him to reconsider. General Big Brass had referred to him as the greatest soldier since Onslaught, back in WW2, but none of them had been ready for the fight. The one day, even today, he still felt like strict as soul. Big brass, only in a ponyfic, people. Only in a ponyfic. They had been there when he had to kill that 4-year-old girl who had been strapped to a bomb by her father and told to run to the soldiers. The bomb had been set with a dead man's trigger, and removing it would have been fatal for Sable. So instead, he picked up one of the tankers, dropped AK-47s, and took aim. His free hand began to shake. It was the reason he left the army. The reason he couldn't just move in with Celestia. He couldn't tell her he had nightmares about the whole thing. That this had been the first time in a while that he hadn't slept with a loaded pistol, or that maybe that girl could have grown up to be someone important. It was madness just thinking about it. And over the years, Sable had gone mad nightly, pulled back from the brink for the reasons he had yet to fathom.
No, count me out, he told Blackthorn. That part of my life is done. I work to improve lives now, not take them. You're making a mistake, Loam. These sirens are playing for keeps now they went rogue. They found a high-ranking Canadian official in France. There wasn't enough of him left to bury in anything but a shoebox. They're going after something big, and they need to be stopped. Yeah, and I've heard the stories. They're an illegally created group of child soldiers. I don't know if that's true, but I'm not interested in killing another kid. Never again. Fine. But you have my number if you change your mind. But you better change it soon. We have a report that they're responding done by. And we're going in guns blazing. Yeah, whatever. Nice talking to you, Blackthorn.
Not waiting for a response, he hung up the phone and had gotten out of bed, stretching, when Celestia stepped out of the bathroom. So, have a nice talk? She asked as her eyes danced across his undressed, muscled form. Yeah, my old lieutenant just moved to Idaho and invited me to a barbecue since we're in the general area. He lied, feeling guilty as he did, but he refused to expose her to his old life. I told him I'd think about it, but we're a little busy. Well, you're on vacation this month, Celestia pointed out, and I'm the one who has to work. You could probably spend a couple of days out there. I may miss you, but hey, we could catch up when you get back.
He shook his head. Not going,
he said, reaching to a small bag and pulling out spare clothes.
Can't spare the time. I promised Sombra I'd help him build that treehouse in the backyard his wife wants for their kids. Besides, I never go anywhere without my best girl. You know that.
She blushed once more, but pointed to the bathroom. Go, shower now, she purred, or else I'm going to need another shower.
Another?
After we...
Her eyes traveled down towards his waist. Right, gotcha,
he said, walking towards as he smiled in appreciation of his choice. Elsewhere than sunny. The taxi had no sooner arrived at the house than an all-too-familiar Maybach 62 pulled up behind it. A man seemingly in his 30s, thin and muscular, stepped out of the car, walking towards the taxi. Speaking to the driver, he handed him something, then stepped away from the cab as he sped off. The man walked towards Solaire and Summer, removing his sunglasses and revealing a cartoon face. Désolé de me rappeler, je suis un imbécile, he said to both ladies, the look on his face somber. No, you're not, dear brother, Solaire said in English to the blue-eyed blonde as he approached. Of course I am, little sister, he said with a grin. I just gave the driver 500 francs for a fare that would have been, 30 at the most. That is as always, but yes, I was angry. I know you've been distracted. No, sorry. Damn me for the bloody fool that I am. When I told you I needed to go to Oslo, I completely forgotten about your plans in America. He then looked at Shimmer and added, I should have definitely known better, mon petit tournesol. Your father was a good friend, and a good man did I meet him. I know, Uncle Nobilis, Shimmer said with a smile. Her uncle, Solaire's brother, Nobilis obliged, had practically been a second father to her since the move to Paris. And even though he was a bit too focused on family duties at times, he always taken the time for his family, both immediate and extended. Nobilis turned back to Solaire. Please, is there anything I could do? But she shook her head. Otto told me allegedly past seasoning, what sets me at peace, she told him. If anything, Oslo should be your concern. Oslo has offered to go. Unlike me, she remembered and said that even though our younger sister doesn't have your gift for negotiation, your needs are paramount. That family is important, unless it is well known by now. Well, we do appreciate it, Scylla replied, giving her brother a kiss on the cheek. So kind of you, dear sister. Now, let me help you with your bags, and we can head to Rosie as soon as can be. Are you certain that I cannot convince you to take one of the family jets? She smiled. No, this will be an unbelievable opportunity to get back to the earth, as it were, she told him. Sometimes we forget that because of what we are. We need to not be who we are, if that makes sense. Well spoken, like his father would have, he said in response, grabbing their bags. Now please, go ahead and lock up. I wouldn't want you to miss your flight at all. Watching from a distance, a trio of women dressed in black sat on a nearby rooftop, observing the family. The sniper continued to watch through her scope. Though her gun was set up, it was a merely defensive procedure in case he was spotted by the authorities. The people below were to be monitored, not taken out. Okay, looks like they're loading into that nice expensive car. The second woman looked at the guy through the telescope. Oh, I think I'd like to have you load me. Easy, you two. We're here to tail our targets, not to get you ladies' boyfriends. The third served. A phone at her side chirped. Fingering the line was monitored, she said, Oh, hi, Sparky. Glad you called. Perry is so simply marvelous. The voice on the other end spoke. The phrase part of the carefully planned code. You know, Windmill, I'd really love to hear what's going on. Report status. The woman translated her mind. Oh, me and Cookie and Daffodil are just looking at the birds as they fly by. We're watching our targets. Looks like they're headed to the nest, too. Darren went out to the airport. Well, don't forget to get some pictures for me of all the wonderful sights. Continue surveillance as planned. No problem. Anyway, gotta go. Overseas calls could be pricey. Bye! The siren disconnected the line, ending the call before anything could be traced. Okay, we have our orders. Follow as planned. The second siren sighed. Oh, but I wanted to get to know him. Looks like he'd be fun and bad. The sniper pulled away from the rifle and started to slip small cylinders in it. As designed, the white phosphorus mini grenades would go off in 10 minutes, sliding the gun completely. Taping it shut, she then threw the gun into the pond in the background of the house where he was serving from. Oh, trust me, from what I hear at Canterlot, you'll get your freak on, girl. I don't want to do this, Zana said, looking at her sisters. She still felt reservations over the whiplash change of fortunes last night. Truth be told, she felt more than a bit betrayed by her older siblings. Look, Sonny, I don't want to do this, Adagio began, only to recoil in shock as Sonata slapped her hand away before he could reach her. We had lives, the youngest triplet said angrily. I liked working for Mr. and Mrs. Cake. I like having friends and a life. I want to go to school and be a normal girl. Sonny, it's not like that, Arya explained. They explained to me how it is, because I'm not getting the message, she said, her eyes radiating anger and pain. I don't want to be a siren, but I don't want to lose you two. Look, Sonny. Adagio was about to begin again when there was a knock on the door. The trio turned to see Madrigal Storm standing there. The three of them jumped to attention by habit and stopped when Madrigal waved it off. At ease, you three. I'm not here in a military capacity. I want to talk to you three as girls, not sirens, okay? I don't want you to say anything you might think of me please me. I want you three to be honest, understood? The three died and sat down in bed. Okay, why did you agree? I've been raising and training you three the past few months. While I know Sonny the best of you three, I've got to know you other two well enough to see you don't belong here. You actually want and deserve lives. If you asked me, I would have been happy to see you three say no, but you didn't. Madrigal did pull up a chair and added, and I want to know why. Adagio was about to say something, but then she looked at the older siren. You really want to know? You're breaking Sonny's heart right now, Dodgy. not your shipmate, not your fellow siren, your own flesh and blood sister. She deserves an answer. And if you three had said no, I would have been here raising you until you got out of college, not 18, as I overheard you say. Frankly, I don't care what Festival and Mezzo think. This is about your future, not theirs. Though I personally think you would agree with me. Adagio nodded, but simply said, I don't want any other girl to go through what we have, Monty. Right now, I'm betting that Sysis is already looking for a general or admiral to be a new head of the Sirens Project. MOD won't bury it. It's been too successful, and our government has possible deniability. The world's more likely to believe Washington would be behind something like us than Ottawa. And meanwhile, more qualified little girls will disappear. 16 years later, they'll be killing tangos in some godforsaken Arabian country. I did that, and I don't want any other girl to do it again. The girl I saved, the one he named after me, I don't want Dacio Cicero to be the one to sue a poor girl's father because he was abusing her. I don't want that girl to file an LLC stage for a landslide last year just to pretend to seduce a government official so she can steal state secrets. She shook her head. I don't want any of us to do this anymore. And neither did Uncle Poutine, and our own government killed him for that, Arya cried, her eyes tightened into her little balls. I don't want to do this either, but Dazzy's my sister. I don't want to let her go alone to this, Maddie. If it's just me and Dazzy, fine. I'd rather Sonny stay out. The youngest triplet gasped, and Arya looked at her sister. One of us has to survive, Dazzy and I had decided it has to be you, little sister. We're expendable. You're not. The look on Sanada's face was one of anger. Don't you dare say that to me, Ari. You and Dazzy are my sisters. We're triplets. I wouldn't abandon you, so don't you dare consider abandoning me. She glared at them both. It's like Vesper told us. We can't think we're expendable, because we're not. You'll never be to me. She moved over and embraced her both. I won't abandon you. She then looked at her grand soeur and added, I'm in. You're all too important for me to lose any of you. Madrigal looked at her petite star in the eye. You sure about this, Sonny? I was willing to let you three off the hook, find some way to explain it to command, but you're sure about this. Adagio looked at the lieutenant straight in the eye. If I don't do this, then if I see Adagio Cicero again, how can I tell her I sat by the sidelines and let her suffer the consequences? Arya, who heard the tale of her sister's bravery in Dubai, agreed. Uncle Poutine went to bat for us, and he was killed for it. Dazzy might be going to protect younger girls, but I want to avenge him. They disgraced him, and he deserves justice. Finally, Madrigal turned to Sonata, eyes practically pleading. To her, Sonata was as precious to her as her own flesh and blood. Likely, the youngest triplet would be the closest thing that the elder siren would ever have to a child, and both knew that. Sonata, you don't have to do this. If I can't be without them, Maddie, Sonata said in a soft voice, or you, I just can't. And I don't think I could live if I had to bury you. Any of you. I'm asking you three to please reconsider. When Adagio and Arya shook their heads one, Madrigal looked at Sonata. The look in her eyes was pleading. Please don't. I have to, Sonata told her sore. I can't betray the sisterhood. My sisters, including you. Okay then, she told him. Get some sleep. We have a long day tomorrow and we permanently deploy at 1800. Understood? Aye, aye, Lieutenant. All three girls said at once as Madrigal silently left the room. Madrigal went downstairs, looked at her friends, sisters themselves. They didn't back out, Madrigal said, her eyes softening. I should be proud of them, but instead I'm afraid. I know, Intermezzo's replied. All I see of this little team, immediately, I hope they win myself. Intermezzo reached over and grabbed Vesper's hand. The silent love from one sister to another did not go unnoticed. Maybe if someone had been there for Rappy, Vesper, and I, maybe things would be different for them. Maybe if Uncle Poutine had lived, maybe things would be different. But he didn't, Vesper said, stealing a glance upstairs to where the lights in the three girls' rooms had gone out. The government we swore our lives to murdered him in cold blood. We had to avenge it. An eye for an eye. Madrigal could only think about the young girl with soft blue hair, streaked with purple, as he raised since he was 10. I just hope we don't all go blind in the process, was all she could voice.